Nick, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're in OTAs. We're seeing some fierce competition out on the field lately. And I think some of the fiercest competition is coming from some of the newest members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some of the rookies are really showing that they are battling out, trying to grind and get some starting spots on this team. Let's get into the article and we'll talk more about it on the other side. This is from Steelers Now, and it says 2024's early battle is between rookies Roman Wilson and Beanie Bishop. These guys push each other daily, and it's fun to watch. Each side has its haymakers, but when it comes down to it, these guys might not have the prototypical size for their positions, but play with a lot of bark and back it up with plenty of bite. That means this competition has sizzle. I'm looking forward to it. You know, two young guys coming in and competing for a spot on the team. Like you said, steel sharpens steel, said Beanie Bishop on the matchup between him and Roman Wilson. When this goes to Latrobe and legitimate one-on-ones begin, Wilson and Bishop will have plenty of words to chirp about in their matchups. Wilson's speed is excellent, and he still has to iron out the fine details to become a significant contributor this year. For now, he is better in a complementary role. Meanwhile, the more Bishop trots out there, the more I think he rises to the challenge of a slot cornerback battle. There will be others who have a say in that battle, but Bishop's mentality is converting itself into some splash on the field. Nick, it sounds like we have a good old slobber knocker between two rookies battling out in OTAs. I think this is great for the Steelers. Curious what your thoughts on this one are, but Steelers fans, in the comment section below, let us know. When things are said and done in Latrobe, who do you think starts out of both of these guys? Is it Bishop? Is it Wilson? Or are they both going to make it at the respective positions? Let us know who you think has the better chance of being day one starter on this team in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this battle at OTAs?
I tell you what, conventional wisdom, you go third round pick versus undrafted free agent, you go Roman Wilson logically and simply has the easier path to be a day one contributor. But I tell you what, there is something special about this Beanie Bishop kid. His demeanor and his mentality, he's got a little bit of a swagger to it, got a little bit of confidence to him, but it all seems to be centrally located when the whistle blows, right? On the field. He doesn't really talk or do anything off of it. He just seems to be so dialed in, so focused, and so hyper competitive. And that's the kind of mentality that can overcome some physical deficiencies that Bishop, being an undrafted free agent, obviously had plenty of. If he didn't, he would have been drafted. And I tell you what, sometimes this happens a lot in the NFL, right? A guy falls in the draft or falls out of the draft, and he comes to an NFL roster and he just starts making a name for himself. It starts in OTAs, then it goes over to training camp, and it goes over to preseason. And that's just why this time of the year really matters, is when you start to see what surprising guys actually belong, right? Because everybody's got undrafted free agents, everyone's got seventh round picks, things like that. But a lot of those guys don't end up making the roster. They really don't belong. They're either a step too slow, they don't have the mentality, whatever it may be. But every year, a couple guys throughout the entire NFL really make a name for themselves as they show up as like, hey, this guy belongs in the NFL. He may be an undrafted free agent, but he's a dude. He can seriously play. And as much as I like Roman Wilson, I think he's got a lot of great tools. There is just something about Beanie Bishop that I just really like. I think he's that classic. He's got an edge as a DB. He's a workman kind of guy too. I think he fits into the Steelers culture of what they want to do defensively. I think his skill set could lend itself to being a quality slot corner if he works himself up to that position. At the very least, he's going to be a heck of a special teams player and a really good depth piece. But he's just proven, here's the big thing, he's proven he belongs. Because to go toe-to-toe against a guy like Wilson coming from Michigan, right, being a third-round pick and holding his own, and frankly, in my opinion, winning a lot of these battles, that's going to jump out to the Steelers coaches. That's going to jump out to the Steelers staff. And I think Roman Wilson, I think he's a good player. That's nothing against him. But I really think the Steelers got something special here in Beanie Bishop.
Yeah, Nick. And Bishop, like you said, he may have a more direct line to starting than we're giving him credit for, because I think Dante Jackson and Joey Porter Jr. got the outsides of this defensive backfield locked down. But when we're talking about slot corners, Josiah Scott, a guy that's moved in here, I mean, I don't necessarily think that he has 100% certainty to lock down the slot cornerback position. I think if Beanie Bishop impresses, at least partially through the season, he has the ability to come in and get some meaningful play time as a slot cornerback for this Steelers team. So, like you said, This guy comes in. Steelers historically have a great reputation of bringing in undrafted free agents, getting a lot of, late draft picks, undrafted guys come in, make contributors out of them. I think Beanie Bishop could be the next guy in line to be the one who takes over that mantle. And like you said, he comes out of the field. He really does all of his talking on the field. He's chirping. He's getting into people's heads. He's out there playing with that spunk, their sizzle, as the article says. I really like him. I think, like you said, he embodies a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think that is what is so appealing about him for Pittsburgh fans. They really like his attitude, and I think he could potentially be a star on this defensive given the opportunity.
And there's another element to Beanie Bishop is that he's done this before in terms of being the underdog and worked his way up. He was out Western Kentucky for a number of years in college, went to Minnesota in his first year there, right? He was an all-conference player at Western Kentucky, transfers to Minnesota. He thinks he's going to be a star. Minnesota benches him. He plays as a backup his first year there. Doesn't play very much at all. Just plays in 13 games total, mainly on special teams and sub packages, right? The next season, he becomes a second-team All-American player. Right. This is a guy who knows how to overcome adversity. Being an undrafted free agent to Benny Bishop means absolutely nothing. He's coming at it from the right attitude, the where we're all equal on the football field, which everybody is. I think Wilson's going to be a really nice receiver. I really like his speed. I really like the pedigree coming from Michigan. But I'm going to keep hammering on Beanie Bishop Jr. until we actually have reason not to. I think there is something really special here, and the Steelers got clearly one of the bigger steals of the offseason right here.